Remember that creamy maple walnut dessert your grandmother would serve after Sunday dinner? The one that came in that iconic red and white box that vanished from store shelves in the late 90s? What if I told you it's just one of 8 beloved Canadian desserts that disappeared forever, and the story behind number 1 might explain why your childhood memories taste sweeter than anything you can buy today? Coming in at number 8, McCain's Maple Walnut Deep and Delicious Cake was once a fixture in freezers across the country. That distinctive sound of a fork piercing through the firm chocolate shell to reach the airy maple-infused cake beneath wasn't just dessert. It was the signal that hockey practice was over and you'd performed well enough to earn a treat. The cake's packaging, with its golden maple leaf embossed against deep burgundy, was as Canadian as the dessert itself. While the chocolate and vanilla version survive today, the maple walnut variant disappeared in 1997, taking with it a taste that defined countless Canadian celebrations in the 1970s and 80s. If you're already feeling that twinge of nostalgia, you're not alone. Thousands of Canadians still search for these lost flavors online every month. Hit subscribe now because we're just getting started on this journey through Canada's vanished sweet history, and trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming up at number 1. Speaking of childhood memories, number 7 on our list takes us to corner stores across the nation. Laura Secourt's Rainbow Paddle Pops emerged in 1967 as part of Canada's centennial celebrations. These tri-colored ice cream bars in red, white, and blue weren't just refreshing, they were patriotic. The distinct crackling of the waxy paper wrapper being peeled back announced to everyone at the beach or park that you had scored the most coveted frozen treat of the summer. The slightly tart raspberry top layer, creamy vanilla middle, and sweet blueberry bottom created a flavor combination that no modern ice cream has managed to replicate. When they disappeared in 1982, a piece of Canadian summer vanished with them. For number 6, we travel to the coastal communities of Atlantic Canada, where McPherson's buttercream tarts once reigned supreme. Created in 1923 by Scottish immigrant Flora McPherson in her small Halifax bakery, these weren't your standard butter tarts. The secret was in the cream, fresh from local dairies, which was slowly cultured before being whipped into the filling. The result was a butter tart with an almost cheese-like tanginess that cut through the sweetness of the traditional recipe. Throughout the Maritime provinces, no church bake sale or community gathering was complete without these tarts. Their distinctive scalloped edges and amber filling instantly recognizable to locals. The aroma of them baking, buttery pastry mingling with caramelizing sugar and that distinctive cultured cream tang, would draw neighbors from blocks away to McPherson's original Barrington Street shop every morning at 9. When television arrived in the 1950s, McPherson's even sponsored local weather reports. With their jingle, "Sweet as sunshine, rich as rain," McPherson's tarts are here again, becoming so embedded in East Coast consciousness that old-timers still hum it when checking the forecast. The bakery's closure in 1987, following rising commercial rents and changing dietary trends, left a hole in maritime food culture that artisanal bakers are still trying to fill today. The recipe went to the grave with Flora's granddaughter in 2003, leaving us with nothing but memories and unsuccessful attempts at recreation. Number 5 takes us on a journey through Canada by rail. The Canadian Pacific Railway's Saskatoon Berry Pudding was served in dining cars from 1929 until the decline of rail service in the 1980s. Imagine the experience. You're seated in a wood-paneled dining car with crisp white tablecloths, silver service, and panoramic windows framing the shifting Canadian landscape. As dessert arrives, the steward presents a dome-shaped pudding, dark purple and steaming, topped with a glossy sauce that cascades down the sides. The first bite reveals the unique flavor of Saskatoon berries, something between blueberry and almond, harvested from the very landscapes passing by your window. The dining car experience wasn't just about food, It was about place and time. The gentle rocking of the train, the soft clink of silverware against fine china, the murmured conversations of travelers, and the occasional whistle as you approached level crossings. All these sensations became intertwined with the taste of this distinctly Canadian dessert. The pudding represented a connection to the land, incorporating indigenous knowledge of local berries into a British steamed pudding tradition, creating something uniquely Canadian in the process. When full-service dining cars began disappearing in the 1980s, so too did this edible piece of Canadian travel history, with the last official serving taking place in 1986 on the Vancouver to Calgary route. In fourth place, we find ourselves in Quebec's eastern townships with Vachon's maple cream flaky pastries. Before the company was acquired by American interests, this regional delicacy combined delicate layers of pastry with pure maple cream harvested from the surrounding sugar bushes. The pastry wasn't just a treat, it was embedded in the rhythm of Quebec life. Factory workers at the province's paper mills would unwrap them during breaks, the distinctive crinkle of wax paper echoing through break rooms. My own grandfather would bring a box home every Friday after his shift, placing it ceremoniously on our kitchen table in Trois-Rivières. The family would gather around, the sweet maple aroma filling our small kitchen, creating a weekly ritual that marked the transition from work week to weekend. What made these pastries remarkable wasn't just their flavor, but how they connected generations. When my father was a boy in the 1950s, his father brought home the same pastries in nearly identical packaging. The blue box with silver maple leaf embossing had barely changed in 40 years. The taste remained consistent too, a rare anchor in a rapidly changing world. When Vachon was acquired in 1997 and production streamlined, the maple cream flaky disappeared from shelves. The company's statement cited modernizing product offerings to align with contemporary tastes. But for many Quebecois, it felt like losing a piece of cultural heritage. The pastry's disappearance coincided with broader changes in Canadian food production. The shift from regional specialties to mass market products with longer shelf lives and broader appeal, leaving distinctively Canadian flavors behind in favor of international marketability. Our third entry takes us high above Toronto's skyline. For nearly 2 decades after its opening in 1976, the CN Tower's revolving restaurant offered a dessert as remarkable as the view, the cloudberry soufflé. Made with rare cloudberries harvested from Canada's northern regions, this light, airy creation represented the pinnacle of Canadian fine dining in the late 70s and 80s. My aunt, who worked as a hostess there, would describe the theatrical presentation. Servers rushing the golden, trembling soufflés to tables before they could collapse. The hush that would fall over diners as they were presented, and the small puff of aromatic steam that escaped when spoons broke the surface. The soufflé wasn't just a dessert, but a performance that captured a moment in time when Canada was asserting its culinary identity on the world stage. International visitors would marvel at the uniquely Canadian ingredient, unknown in most other cuisines. The berries themselves, amber-colored and growing only in boggy northern terrain, had to be harvested by hand, making each soufflé a true luxury. The dessert vanished from menus in 1995 when changing culinary trends and the increasing scarcity of cloudberries made it impractical. Its disappearance reflected broader shifts in Canadian cuisine, moving away from showcasing uniquely Canadian ingredients toward more international flavors. Those who experience this dessert recall not just its flavor, but the entire sensory experience. The revolving view of Toronto's growing skyline, the special occasion atmosphere with its soft lighting, reflecting off crystal and silver, and the feeling that this was something you couldn't get anywhere else in the world. Our second place entry spans 3 centuries of Canadian celebration. From 1869 until the company's closure in 1999, Eaton's department store Christmas pudding wasn't just a dessert. It was a Canadian Christmas tradition that connected generations. Made from a closely guarded Victorian recipe brought from England by Timothy Eaton himself, these dense, fruit-filled puddings aged in the basement of the flagship Toronto store for months before the holiday season. The anticipation began in summer when families would place their orders, continuing through autumn as the distinctive aroma of aging puddings began to permeate the store's lower level, finally culminating in December when thousands of Canadian families would serve this centerpiece at their Christmas dinner. The ritual surrounding these puddings defined Canadian Christmas celebrations. The ceremonial dimming of lights, the pouring and lighting of warmed brandy, its blue flames dancing across the dark pudding surface, and the collective holding of breath as it was carried to the table. The taste was complex. Dried fruits, warm spices, and aged spirits, creating a rich symphony that somehow captured the essence of Christmas itself. When my grandmother would bring out the distinctive red Eaton's box with its gold embossing, we knew the real celebration was about to begin. The finding of the hidden sixpence was another cherished tradition, with children eagerly digging through their servings to discover who would have good luck in the coming year. The pudding represented a connection to our British heritage, but had evolved into something uniquely Canadian. Served with both the traditional hard sauce and a maple-infused custard that was Eaton's own innovation. When the department store closed its doors after 130 years, Canadians lost more than a retail institution. They lost a taste of Christmas past that had defined holiday traditions for generations, leaving families to seek new traditions or attempt recreations that never quite captured the magic of the original. Finally, we arrive at number one, the dessert that perhaps best captures the essence of mid-century Canadian childhood. Woodward's famous 1.49-day chocolate birthday cake. From the 1950s through the early 1990s, this affordable luxury was the centerpiece of countless birthday celebrations across Western Canada. Available only on Woodward's famous 1.49 days, Tuesdays, these remarkable cakes embodied post-war Canadian optimism and the democratization of celebration. The distinctive chocolate cake with its 7-minute frosting was advertised by the iconic 1.49-day Tuesday jingle that still triggers instant recognition among Canadians of a certain age. The taste was consistent, a moist chocolate cake that wasn't too sweet, topped with that cloud-like frosting that would form a delicate crust while remaining pillowy beneath. But what made these cakes special wasn't just their flavor or incredible value, but what they represented. The ability for any family, regardless of income, to provide a special birthday celebration. In an era before custom bakery cakes became the norm, these were the taste of childhood joy. I still remember my father waking up early on Tuesday mornings before my birthday to line up at the Woodward's food floor in Vancouver, joining dozens of other parents on the same mission. There was a camaraderie in those lines, a shared understanding that these cakes mattered to our children. The experience of eating the cake was communal too. The same cake appeared at birthday parties across neighborhoods, schools, and communities. When a classmate would open their lunchbox to reveal a leftover slice with its distinctive frosting pattern, everyone knew exactly what it was and where it came from. This shared experience created a uniquely Canadian collective memory that transcended class and background. When Woodward's closed in 1993, something more than a department store was lost. A democratic approach to celebration disappeared with it. Today's artisanal bakeries and custom cake shops offer incredible creations, but there's something about that shared experience that modern celebrations can't replicate. Woodward's cake reminds us of a time when celebration was less about individualism and more about community, when the joy was in the shared experience rather than the uniqueness of the offering. These 8 vanished desserts tell us something essential about Canadian identity, our connection to our landscape through Saskatoon berries and maple, our British heritage reimagined through Christmas puddings, our appreciation for accessibility and value, and our ability to create uniquely Canadian traditions. While these specific treats have disappeared, Their legacy lives on in our collective memory and in the new Canadian dessert innovations that continue to emerge. Though many of us would gladly trade today's trendy creations for just one more taste of these lost classics.